At Desert Sun Coffee Roasters, we only buy coffee directly from small-scale farming cooperatives. This month, I had the opportunity to visit 2 of them in Guatemala. This is the story of my journey. I'm on my way from Antigua to visit the Chajulanese Coffee Farming Cooperative in Chajul, about a 6-hour drive. So let's get some basic understanding out of the way during the ride. A small-scale farming cooperative is a group of local farmers who choose to work together instead of working alone. Each farmer owns and works their own land, often just a few acres per farmer, before pooling their harvest, sharing their resources, and selling their coffee collectively. So instead of relying on middlemen or large corporations, they set fair prices together, share tools and training, support each other during the tough seasons, and reinvest in their communities. Then, they directly import the finished coffee to us, so there's no exporter or coffee broker cutting into their profits. In the case of the Chajulanese Coffee Farming Cooperative I'm about to visit, they comprise over 950 farmers working in 56 communities throughout the region. On our first stop, we get to meet with the Chajul co-op manager, Romy, and learn about the origins of our roaster-owned co-op coffees with founder Bill Harris.
I came here before we had started Cafe Campesino Co-op Coffees because I had heard when I was working on the Habitat project about this place that had a different way of trading coffee. And we were doing a lot of math on our Habitat team about how little money the farmer was getting. And so I was supposed to go to Spanish school. And as you can tell, I didn't spend too much time in Spanish school. I skipped school and came up to Chajul. And there was a priest here. I showed up unannounced and asked if he would explain how this works. And there was a priest that was working here. ¿Recuerda el nombre de este priest?
¿De sacerdote? Sí, es sacerdote Rosolino.
Sí. Italiano?
Italiano.
Sí. And he took a couple hours and took me over to the plant, showed me how it all worked, and sat down and explained what a co-op is. So this is the first time I'd ever heard of farmers organizing and getting better prices. And they were selling to Eagle Exchange at that time. So that was the original.
1997?
That was 97. Then we started at 98. Lo siento por English. So.
I like to do all the stuff you're going on.
How's it going? Rain into another vessel one of these days?
I can't wait for that. I want to be put in a blender.
Visiting one of our co-op's farmers started with a long journey up into the remote mountains of Guatemala. The drive was roughly a 4-hour trip each way on rough 4-wheel drive roads on a chicken bus. Yes, you heard that right, a chicken bus. A common form of mass transportation in Guatemala, these repurposed school buses are commonly decked out with paint, cool LED lights, chrome accents, and more. Our chariot was driven by Freddie, a second-generation chicken bus driver dedicated to the route that we were taking. Freddie and his dad are both well known in this region for providing transportation to this rural mountainous region for decades. Not all coffee farmers live on their property, but Micaela's well-tended 1 acre includes her home surrounded by a biodiversity of coffee, corn, chayote, sweet peas, and beyond. While a large portion of her property is growing crops, she's also raising some livestock, including chickens, turkeys, and a hog. Our group, now equipped with harvest baskets around our waist, proceeded to the backside of the property, situated on a much steeper portion of her acreage. We were excited that our visit coincided with harvest season. This usually starts in late January and goes through late March. I was surprised to learn that all the cherries from an entire coffee tree only produce around 1 pound of finished coffee. So much time and effort going into producing a single bag. Much of the coffee growing on our property includes a diversity of trees of varying different sizes that include pine and banana. The biodiversity is super important for the soil health and, of course, the birds. And while the coffee trees enjoy some sun, it grows best in the shade of its neighbors.
Digamos, son las que están bien maduras, como estas.
When picking the cherry off the tree, it was explained to us the importance of not fully damaging the cherry stem that's still connected to the tree. When you leave this somewhat intact, it greatly increases the chance that it will flower during the next harvest season, ensuring a cherry will grow again. When cherries are mechanically picked off the tree, the stems are pulled off completely, meaning they will produce substantially less cherry during the next harvest. This is a problem much more typical with plantation-style farming. The good news is, all the coffee at Desert Sun Coffee Roasters is both hand-picked and shade-grown. Shade coffee.
Made in the shade.
Made in the shade. Before using the depulper to remove the seeds from the cherries, Micaela uses water to remove debris and bad cherries, which will float to the top. She uses a fine mesh basket to do this. Now we get to use an old-fashioned depulper to remove the seed from the cherry. A normal cherry has 2 seeds inside, what we typically call a coffee bean in the US. Peaberry coffee is actually from a much more rare cherry that only carries 1 seed inside. These are considered special because they often integrate more flavor from the cherry. And of course, I had my turn on the depulper too. After roughly 12 hours of fermenting the beans, a large black tarp is laid out on part of Micaela's property that receives full sun exposure. The beans are then spread out across the tarp to sun dry for approximately 3 days. Once the coffee is dried, it gets bagged up and sent on its way to the co-op's processing facility.